mortgages. So joining us this morning is Paul Oster, president of Better Qualified, with some tips on this important issue. Paul, good morning.
Good morning, Alyssa. Thanks for having me on.
Of course, thanks for being with us. So let's dive right in. What is the data showing when it comes to auto payments and home loans?
So it's kind of mixed data right now for sure, but the canary in the coal mine is usually auto loans and credit card delinquencies, and they're way up. Credit card defaults are at their highest rate since 2010, and auto loans are up. The delinquencies are over 50% since 2010. So those are usually the factors that we say consumers are starting to drown. Mortgage delinquencies have actually stabilized a little bit. So it's a little bit of an anomaly when you're talking about mortgage rates. But home equity lines of credit are up. Those balances have been increasing, which means they're borrowing more against the equity in those homes. So the early signs are not good for the overall consumer right now.
And so leading off of that, what would you say the biggest factors are right now that are really causing people to fall behind on these loans?
Well, it's the current state of the economy, right? We have the high interest rates across the board. We have inflation, if not stagflation. The job market is starting to look not so peachy right now. So when you put all of those things together, the cost of goods and services, interest rates, consumers are starting to drown in their own debt. And look, we're resilient to a fault. We just continue to spend money that we don't have. So now is the time where they have to take a step back, especially coming into the holiday season, and change our behaviors before we hit that slippery slope, and then it becomes a really difficult situation to reverse.
So talk a little bit more about the impact that this has and how it can affect a person's credit rating.
Yeah, well, that's, the scariest part is, every dollar that you add to your credit card balance lowers your credit score. As soon as you go over, it's called your utilization ratio. Your credit score has nothing to do with income, but it has everything to do with how much credit you have available and how much credit you're using. So as soon as you go over 30% of your balances to credit limits, your credit scores start to come down fast, and you could easily start to lose 25, 50, maybe even 100 points as you increase that utilization ratio.
And so what can a person do if they find themselves facing this issue?
Yeah, the biggest mistake most people make is they try and use fuzzy mental math as a household budget. And that's simply, you cannot do that in today's environment. Look, the average household is run like a small business, or should be run like a small business. We need to become our own CFOs. You cannot use fuzzy mental math. You have to have a household budget in place to figure out how much money is coming in and how much money is going out the door. If you just look at subscriptions, the average household is now over $200 a month in subscriptions. And when you factor in all of the other recreational spending, convenience stores, it's easily $500 a month. So we need to cut back on all of those things and get that credit card debt under control. It's called debt stacking. Focus on the credit card with the highest interest rate. Also start to make micro payments. If you're going to make an extra $50 payment towards your credit card debt, break that up into two payments, because credit cards are daily compounding interest. So if you made a payment today, when they recalculate your balance tomorrow, it would be minus, say, $25, $30. So make micro payments, use debt stacking, focus on the cards with the highest interest rate, and any extra money that you have available, put it towards your credit card debt. Most people are well over 20%, closer to 30% in interest.
Really great advice, Paul. And where can people go for more information?
Go to betterqualified.com.
All right, Paul, thanks so much. Always great to have you with us. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me back on. Have a great day.